you've been looking for.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I don't know if you remember me. Name's Abdul. I did some of the F1 commentary back in the day. I'm in here filling in this week. It's been a while since I've commentated in ORL, but I'm excited to be back, and I'm excited to be able to join ORL for its 15th season. An incredible 15 seasons of ACC. Um, and I can see you cannot hear the game, so I will let me know if that works. But if not, I will try to get that fixed if you can't hear the game. Okay, and it's glitching on me a little bit, so I apologize for that. So we will go to somebody who's on their lap right now. We'll just start with Nate Schreiber as I try to figure out why the audio is not working. Sorry about that. Uh, and all right. Sure, it should be working better now, or you should at least be able to hear the car. If someone can give me a heads up, that would be awesome. See, we have a couple of viewers so far. Nate Schreiber on his out lap. Well, he has actually just put up a lap, so it's 144, 220. And I am a little bit rusty, so we'll appreciate a little bit of grace, but I know you guys are very good. We're watching across. So we are here again for round 15 of the ORL Premier Championship, GT Americas. Kyalami is one of my favorite tracks. Round 3, it's covering here, and it's looks like a rainful race so far, at least. It is qualifying, certainly could dry for the race, but it will mean that the track is at best slick for the race, and possibly even raining during those, which will make Kyalami, which is a very fun track, albeit a little bit tricky, an even more tricky track. Nate Schreiber trying to get around Sven Goose here, so we will go to our friend R. Chanley. Oops. It does not come up with the full name. I am so sorry, Chanley. But it's like I said, it's been a while, so I actually do not recognize all of these names, but I know enough of them, so we'll make it work. Chanley in the Aston Martin. He's trying to put up a good lap here. He's going through Sector 3 now. Looks like Mercedes slightly off the track. The trouble with Kyalami often comes is that people often complain about narrow tracks. Kyalami suffers from a little bit of the other issue. It's deceptively elevated, so nobody will sit here and admit that Kyalami does not have elevation. But obviously, our facts are so sort of skewed by the fact that Bathurst is like the monster of elevation tracks. And so people think anything less than that, and it's not really an elevation track. Kyalami is very elevated, up and down. And it varies very much, especially in the middle sector when you're taking a lot of twisting turns, especially at high gears. Along with the fact that you have a lot of tarmac, so obviously with practice you're able to sort of narrow it down and get a little bit of a better sense of what lines to take, but Kyalami, because it invites so much freedom, also means that there are areas which look like you can take advantage of pace, but you're probably not going to be able to. Chanley here puts up a decent lap. He's in 7th place. He's 2.7 seconds off the lead. It looks like Nate Schreiber is still in P1 so far, so good job by Nate. He put up a very good 144.220. And that is rain. So typically without rain, I know people, our top tier drivers usually can get into the 39s, just squeaking to the 39s, but the rest of the field in GT Americas you typically see anywhere between 40 and 45. But since it's a rain-filled race, that was a very good lap from Nate. Sven Goose is on a lap now. We'll get on board with T Gargle Some Water. That's pretty funny. That's a good name. That's a great name, but he did pick a default livery, so not a big fan of the default livery. But it's all good. It's a good looking livery. Wait 1 sec. So that's a good looking livery right there. Gargle Some Water is now going through sector 3. Looks like he's still on a valid lap for now. Nur Halim right in front of him is not on a valid lap, and there's a lot of people still in the garage. Oh no, Gargle Some Water unfortunately had a little bit of a moment. Did end up saving the car, but it does invalidate his lap. At least he'll get a good run up for the next lap. Tires should be warmed up. We'll grab onto Jay Gomez, who's just came across. He's just starting on a new lap. Okay, so let's grab our own Christian Julian, who is on a valid lap. He's going into sector 3 now. I believe that is coming on to Cheetah, which is quite a fun turn, actually. I used to take this turn a lot tighter because I would like to... well, I tried to at least get a little bit of the slingshot effect. But it doesn't really work here. Going out wide is actually the play, and then just barely touching. That's a great livery. That's a great livery. I like it. Christian Julian does not improve. It was a very good lap, but he did not improve. He was just about 100th off his pace. Let's grab someone who looks like they're going to go up on their lap here. We'll grab Jay Gomez again. He seems like he's almost 600s up on his lap right now. He's about to head into Sector 3, so the same thing. Koji just went through Puma. Gomez is about to hit Puma in about 10 seconds. That's a very good car, the BMW. It's an interesting car. People always sort of described it as a very stable car, impossible to spin. I actually found it the complete opposite. I might be the only person, but I found it relatively unstable. Of course, coming from a Mercedes driver, so it is a front-wheel drive car. They're both front-wheel drive cars, but they do drive differently. Certainly could have something to do with it, but I always thought it was interesting. I never was able to sort of tame it or get the maximum out of it. But Jay Gomez is going across the line. He is going to improve on his lap. We will see where it lands him. So, unfortunately, that last turn did end up costing him quite a bit. So he does go up 4/10 on his lap, but it's not enough to move him from 10th place. We'll hop on board with our own Christian Julian again. As we see rookies are done from the race control message. And Ian Abdel is our steward on tonight. So if you are unhappy with your own... Oh, he keeps it! Oh, but he loses his advantage, unfortunately. Koju was up almost 600ths on his lap. That would have put him very close to Sven Goose. So he will improve just so slightly. Obviously could end up making the difference, but it doesn't improve nearly as much as it could have. He had a little bit of a moment right there at the end. He's not the only person we saw have had a moment over there. So we see the rookies are now going back to the garage. So now it will be the more experienced drivers who are coming out. And we'll try to grab our own... well, I guess we have our choice of who we can pick here. Why not? Let's grab the first guy we see on the track, which is Phil Cryo Theos. Uh, Cryo, as we know him so lovingly, Australian. Uh, Tours calf apart playing soccer, but he's on the track and he's racing. That is what we call dedication, my friends. He's also the esports captain, and he heads up many of our team's entries, especially into other endurance races, along with being a consistent driver here. He was also, I believe, someone could correct me if I'm wrong about this, that he was the last season's GT America's champion, or the pros and rookies when we still had them broken out. So he is the reigning champion. So he's going to be looking to repeat on his crown. Right behind him is a former champion, Luke Luzama, on his best day, the fastest driver on the track. But we do know Luke has varying performances from race to race, depending on the conditions. Very often you will see Luke either in the wall early on, sorry Luke, or you'll see him, gapping the field by quite a bit. So will be interesting to see how he does today. But we're following along Phil Cryotheos. He will be the first one across the line. I believe this is the first time I've seen Cryo in the Ferrari. Interesting choice, certainly. I found the Ferrari to be an interesting car. You have to be a lot more aggressive on the throttle compared to some of the other cars that people drive, which are you have to be a little bit more nicer on the throttle. But it doesn't really spin. It's a pretty easy car to drive relatively, so I can see why a lot of people gravitate to it. Luke was spinning a lot in practice. Nate, that's not a good sign for Luke, but hey, maybe he'll get some reverse luck. And if you guys do want to chat, go ahead and chat, be involved. You'll keep me company so I don't have to talk to myself the whole time. And I will see your chat on the right side of my screen, so please chat. It'll be a fun time. I promise I'll keep jokes. Alright, Cryo going through Sector 1. Nobody's invalidated their lap so far from any of the pros who are out there. We have Abro Chada, who's in the 3031 BMW. He's still in the pits. But Cryo will likely be setting a top 3 lap, if not the fastest. These pros right here are the best of the very best. They know their craft, they're able to hone it, they've done it across different cars, across different tracks and conditions. They have been through everything. Oh no, Cryo unfortunately invalidating his lap, so we'll quickly switch to Luke Lozama, who's still on a valid lap. And he is in his trusty BMW. I know he's driven that for a while. He used to be a former Porsche driver, among other cars, but I remember him most for the Porsche. He's still on a valid lap. So he will actually be the first one who crosses the line. 331 has to start from pits. Thank you, Nate. Awesome. Sorry about missing that. 331 had to start from the pits. Luke Lozama still on a valid lap, so I guess everything I just said about Cryo in terms of being near the top, or at least expected to be now, is the same expectation for Luke and pretty much anybody who's crossing the line from behind. It looks like right behind Luke is Chad McLean, who are AM champion. So Luke Lozama does go clear by almost a second. Very good lap from Luke. We'll grab someone else who... we'll grab Derek Anderson here, see where he crosses the line. Luke Lozama goes P1, Clayton Filsinger, half a second back, but he does go P2. Derek Anderson is a multi-time AM champion here, and he drives that lovingly twisty Porsche right here. We'll see where Derek crosses the line. We have some other people go to the top. Sanchez, P3. Derek Anderson goes P3, right ahead of Sanchez, just, well, 100th pretty much ahead. Very good lap from Derek Anderson. And David Mastillo, P1. Very nice. In the Honda NSX. Not an easy car to drive. Very good lap from him. Slightly ahead of Luke. Not much, but he is in front of him. Jay Diaz, very good lap from him. He goes P3 now. He's about almost exactly half a second off. We'll grab our friend Drew Jensen here. Drew's on the track. Drew's been driving with us for a while. He's also our graphic designer and can pretty much do everything. He's a sort of a miracle worker. Saved my ass more than a few times. His first lap was a pretty good one. P15, he's about 3.1 seconds off the lead. We could see if he's gonna be able to improve. But before that, we'll grab two people. We'll grab Chad McLean, who's half a second up on his lap. And then right behind that, Justin Turek is almost a second up on his lap. And so they both should be able to break into the top 10. Chad comes around the final turn here. Lovingly Pig Porsche. And Chad is able to improve but doesn't move. Justin Turek improves a lot. Only 2/10 off of pole right there. That was a fantastic lap from him. Fantastic lap. We'll go back to David Mastillo right here. He's almost half a second up. He's coming close to the finish line. Right around that tricky bend right there. And he's looking to put even more of a gap between himself and Luke Lozama. Luke going to the pits now. David Mastillo comes across the line and absolutely separates himself from the rest of the field. Very good lap from David Mastillo there. Goes almost 6/10 up on the next guy. Just a fantastic lap. Well, what more can we say right there? Great lap from him. We'll go back and give some other love here. A few other people. Let's grab someone who's up on their lap. Most people are down on their laps right now. We'll grab Chad McLean again, because Chad's having a really good lap. He has Justin Turek right behind him, who's also up in his lap, but cannot pass in qualifying like that, unfortunately. So I have to wonder if Chad will hold him up a little bit, but they should be okay to do. Chad's looking very good. He's looking to improve by nearly half a second on his lap. If he's able to do that, he'll slot himself right somewhere between 8 and 11. Which will mean a very good starting spot for this race. We have a lot of people here, 26 drivers on the track. Especially with the rain, drivers will tend to bunch up and separate at the same time. Oh, Justin Turek into the wall. Unfortunately, invalidate lap and damage. So Chad McLean coming across the line, almost 7/10 up here. It's looking like to be a very good lap here. Very good job from Chad. Fantastic lap. He goes right behind Phil Cryotheos, hundredths ahead of Derek Anderson. Derek Anderson, speaking of which, is a half second up on his lap right here. Looks like everybody's improving. The track might be improving even though it looks like it's raining. Derek, if he's able to complete this lap, will be putting himself to a very good position. And Derek Anderson, very good job. He nailed that lap. Nothing more I could say. Very good job. That's P4 from Derek Anderson. Just less than a hair in front of Clayton Filsinger, but he does beat him. He is P4 right now, genuinely. And he's only a couple hundredths away from being P2. If he gets a good lap run off on the second lap, he could do a very good job here. So not a lot of people up on their laps right now. We'll go back to David Mastillo, who looks like he's going to slightly improve. He's just absolutely dusting this field right now. He's a whole second up, pretty much, on the rest of the field. Very good job. No one's been even close to being able to match him so far. So we'll grab Lennon Bromfield here up. He's 2/10 up on his lap. And he's almost halfway through the circuit. He's currently P12 right now. He's almost 2 seconds off of his... almost 2 seconds off of the leader. I know that's not where Bromfield wants to be. Certainly, he expected him to be a little bit higher up. But we're expecting a little bit of a better lap from him. He's in that Audi. It's so tricky to drive this Audi right here. It never really cooperates with the correct way. The Audi certainly seems to be a car which is not only tough on the entry, also seems to be a tough car on the exit. It's a little bit like the old Ferrari F1 cars of the early 2010s. Bromfield comes out. He got a very good last turn. He'll get a decent result here. Lennon Bromfield comes across the line and he jumps to P8. Great job. Very slightly for Phil Cryotheos, but he goes to P8 right here. And we will grab Jay Diaz here, who seems to be up on his lap as well. He looks to be able to improve and jump in front of a few guys if he could get a final good turn. This could be a very good lap from him. Jay Diaz comes across the line and he jumps to P3, and he was very close to P2 as well. And we will grab... Justin Turek goes into P2. Sorry, I totally missed that. Sorry, Justin. He goes into P2 and he's able to cut that gap to 800s. We'll grab my old driving partner here, Clayton Filsinger. Clayton was a part of Claymore Racing Team with myself several seasons ago. We won the Constructors Championships and, well, we almost won both driver titles, but we won't talk about that. Sore subject. But we did win Constructors very easily. He's a great guy, good friend of mine, and he's a multi-time ORL champion. He's got a trophy cabinet that's full right now. Doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. But he is looking to improve a little bit on this lap to get up a little bit closer. Justin Turek looks like he's going to improve ever so slightly, but it won't nearly be enough to get to David Mastillo. He does improve to about 700s. Clayton Filsinger around the final bend. Clayton did get a good final turn. He should be able to jump up in front of a couple people here. He does. P3. And very close to P2. We'll grab Luke Lizama here. Luke is going through just Sector 3 right now. He looks to be up 2 to 300ths. And he looks to be able to jump in front of the other guys. Pretty much P2 through P9 are very close, within half a second of each other. So a good lap here, and you could really jump up. Luke Lizama got a great run out from that final turn. Luke will come across the line, and he will jump to P2. That's what I'm talking about. Right at the last second, Luke got one good lap in, and he jumps up all of those spots and proceeds to bin it into the wall. Very professional, very professional. All right, thank you, everybody. We are going to go to intermission, and the race will be starting in a few minutes. Hey everybody, so I see that the intermission didn't work. And yeah, arrow's so big. Luke Lizama deciding to message me during the race instead of racing. All right. So, it was very exciting qualifying. A lot of big names here. That was very close to the top. David Mistel obviously got an alien lap out. That was fantastic. But everybody was getting closer and closer and inching closer in a great battle for P2. We saw a lot of names
30 seconds.
slotting in and out here. And we're about to take off almost. We are on the grid. And so the official order, and let's see here. We'll do a little bit of a walkthrough. If we can pull up the broadcasting controls. All right, P1 is our own David Mistillo here, who had a fantastic lap, like I said, in qualifying. Right behind him is Luke Lozama in his BMW. He's from Trinidad and Tobago, so you can see the affectionate flag at the back here. And we'll start going through these a little bit quicker because they are off. Justin Turek in his rose-filled livery here. He's driving the Porsche. P4, multi-time champion Clayton Filsinger in the Ferrari. Never thought I would say that in my life. JD is here in the Porsche. And JD is here in the Porsche. But we have a few Porsches behind. Derek Anderson also in the Porsche. We'll try to get a good view. Derek Anderson in the Porsche. Right behind him is his backroads GT racing friend, Dean Solomon, also in the Porsche. When we have Lennon Bromfield in the Audi, looking very nice. Phil Cryothios had a good second lap, but had never seemed to be able to get past that. He's going to be looking to make up some positions in the race here. And then we have our former AM champion, Chad McLean. And then right behind that, we have E. Sanchez. And we have right behind him Nate Schreiber, who's been an experienced driver for us, also as a commentator and staff member. And then right behind that, we have Sven Goose, who I believe has won an AM title before, or maybe not, but he's definitely won races. We have Al Nelson here in the Aston Martin. Christian Julian here in the Ford Mustang, very, like I said, affectionately colored pink. A lot of pink colored cars on the grid today. Then we have Drew Jensen, an experienced driver from our side. He's driving the McLaren, always has. I don't think I've ever seen him drive anything else. Some dude in an Audi, El Martinez, he's in the Ferrari. He gargle on some water. Again, I don't know how we passed our checks with that name, but that's a great name. He's driving the Mercedes. Smart man there. Smart man, smart car. Then we have Adam Nur-Halim, who's driven it for us for a while. He's in the Honda. R. Bishop in the BMW. We have Jay Sazat, sorry, I'm probably end up saying it wrong, in the Aston Martin. We have Chanley here, who's disappeared, but then now he's back. Hopefully he's going in and out. Then we have Nick Woods. Sorry if I got your name wrong. Oh, we have an Audi spun out. That is Richard Hartnett. Sorry. And then we have Jay Gomez starting from the pits. You have to wonder what happened here. You don't have Orel liveries? I think the Orel liveries. What are you talking about? From the collection. Well, either way, the race is about to start, so I can't do anything about it now. And we will go to the auto cam here. And we'll follow David Mastillo as he takes off. Soon to cross the line. Again, the line does not go until David does. And as soon as he takes off, we'll let the auto cam on for a little while, do its thing, and then we'll go back and see some of the action here. And possibly some of the contacts which happened. Right now, just some of the action that we're looking at. All right, and we're off. David Mastillo leads him off. He seems to be getting a good pull off the line. Luke Lozama trying to go from the outside, and everybody descending from the back, obviously. Luke Lozama now fighting Justin Turek from the back. Looks like it's pretty clean so far. And for some reason, the autopilot just took me to somebody else. David Mastillo still has Luke Lozama behind him. And he's followed by Justin Turek and the like behind him as well. Clayton Filsinger. So far, Nate Schreiber has gained a position. Al Nelson as well. Chad McLean, Cryotheos have both lost positions. Everybody else in the top 8 is in the same place that they started. Lennon Bromfield gets past Dean Solomon now as the Masillo continues to lead them across the bend, and everybody's very close. Looks like we've had some incidents so far, but nothing major, at least. A few people behind, but most of these people were starting from the back anyway. Chad McLean gets past Al Nelson into 10th place, and it looks like Mistel is already starting to gap him. He's got a 1-second lead. And Phil Cryotheos looks like he's struggling a little bit behind. And yeah, it looks like a few cars are struggling. Tires are not warmed up yet. This is, again, just lap 1. We do have to keep that in mind. Luke Lozama is falling a little bit farther and farther behind David Mastillo. It's only lap 1, and it's almost... Oh, no! Justin Turek goes, unfortunately, over the bump at the end, and hopefully he doesn't end up hitting anybody. Justin might end up falling all the way to the back. That is unfortunate. Unfortunate. Looks like Justin will take an instant replay here. Yeah, just hit it a little bit too hard, unfortunately. Those tires are still kind of cold. Unfortunately, his race is a little bit ruined at this point, but we'll keep going. We'll follow along here. Luke Lozama still following behind. Everybody else seems to be in place. Derek Anderson's created a little bit of a gap here to Lennon Bromfield behind. Bromfield's struggling a little bit with the grip here, so Derek's been able to gap him by 1.3 seconds. Phil Cryotheos got past Chad McLean here to reclaim 9th place. Chad's still straight behind him. Phil will always obviously look to get up to speed quickly. The next person in front of him is our own Nate Schreiber. Cryotheos has to gain about 2.5 seconds just to catch up. Also monitor the rest of the situation, so we're looking at Clayton Filsinger now. Well, I think Clayton's off the track, so that does count as a track cut, and it looks like Cryo was at fault for an incident. He did just receive a 15-second time penalty. He is currently right now in P9, but that will drop him back several positions, maybe all the way to the back. 15 seconds is a major penalty. As we just saw on the screen, Clayton did go off track. But it looks like he didn't actually lose too much. He's just right about 800ths behind Luke Lozama over there. And right behind him, Jay Diaz, about 800ths. Luke looks like he's struggling very much in this last sector. He's falling 2.1 seconds behind Mastillo. And now, Clayton Filsinger right on his backside. He can pretty much reach out and touch the bumper. Let's see if Clayton goes for a move into turn 1 right here. He does hold out. I think that's a good move. There's better attacking chances in the second sector here, but he will be looking to make sure to put on the pressure onto Luke to induce some mistakes or some bad driving, which is often not the case of anything more than luck in these kind of conditions. We'll continue to follow this along as it goes along. Dean Solomon is very close to overtaking, and he does, I believe. Well, no, he's very close. He has not done it yet, but he's right behind Bromfield here. He's trying to get in front of Bromfield to get to his other BGTR teammate, and he goes from the dive from the inside. Optimistic. Could have ended up badly, but he's done a great job of keeping restraint, and he has Nate Schreiber to boot right behind him. 3 cars very close, fighting for that P6 spot, and we're just keeping an eye out on the Clayton Filsinger, Luke Lozama battle as well. As David Massillo looks like he's having a great time out in front. And there is some contact behind Bromfield and Solomon. 15-second time penalty for car 660. And that is... Gargle some water, okay. Unfortunately, gargle some water and some trouble right there. He's already close to the back, so... A little bit of a race killer. Very good battle here. These two are really going for it. This is Sector 3. A lot bad could happen, but they're driving well so far. Bromfield looks like he might be edged out. A little bit elbows out from Dean Solomon. Very good job. Great pass from him, and now he's been exposed to Nate Schreiber as well. Bromfield, unfortunately, he got squeezed a little, but it wasn't anything illegal. It was just very good racing. Nate Schreiber looks like he's going to go for the pass. Bromfield does have the inside. Nate gives him the route. And Nate's going to take the outside, and he's going to get that move done. What a fantastic pass from Nate. Now Cryo Theos is behind Bromfield. It just gets worse and worse. Bromfield has fallen back. That being said, taking into account the fact that Cryo Theos does have a 15-second time penalty. Okay, we do have 40 minutes left, so unfortunately I will have to talk a lot, so I'm going to try and pace myself so I don't burn out too quickly. But we're watching some of the battles here up front. Just to remind everybody where we're at, we have Playing Filsinger still chasing down Luke Uzama, about a half a second behind. We'll take a look at some incidents as soon as a couple laps pass. So Klein is right behind Luke Uzama, and they have Jay Diaz right behind them. BMW, Ferrari, and Porsche respectively. There's Mastillo, almost 3 laps in, already 3.5 seconds ahead. He's sailing off into the sunset. Don't want a commentator curse him, but he's enjoying life right now, and he's putting up very good laps. He has the fastest lap by far, 43.4. Nobody else has even broken into the 43s. Best one up is JD has with the 44.1 here. Clayton's going to look to get a good run out from the final sector, from the final turn, and he has. He's been getting decent breakouts from that final turn, but it just seems like it's not enough to be able to overtake Luke Luzama. Luke's doing a great job of keeping his car wide. The BMW is legitimately a huge car anyway. So Luke has done a good job, and he's matching Clayton pace for pace pretty much. They're only 100th apart pretty much in their best laps here. Alright, we'll continue to watch that battle. But behind them, we'll watch as Phil Cryotheos has fallen a little bit behind the other two, Nate Schreiber and Dean Solomon here. So he might have had a little bit of a moment. Again, he's dealing with the time penalty there as well. Nate Schreiber having a fantastic race so far. P7. But he's also the #1 AM driver by far. He's the next AM driver up behind us. Oh, sorry, he's a rookie. So as a rookie, he's P7 right now. Legitimately awesome. He's ahead of any of the other AMs. He's ahead of a couple of pros. And the next rookie up is P12. Nate plays it smart, keeps the car on the track. He'll earn maximum points for this. Some major kudos from me as well. 5-second time penalty for 5:03. That is El Martinez. He's not having a great time right now. He's P21, but he's going to be looking to overcome that penalty quickly. As we follow along, we'll keep in mind this Nate and Dean Solomon battle here. Klein continuing to follow behind Luke Uzama. And it just looks like it looks like he might need to be a little bit braver through that final turn. Nate Schreiber looks like he's very close. And Nate is the type of person I know that is aggressive, and he's going to go for that move. So I think we might see something here. Nate looks like he goes to the inside. Dean Solomon covers the outside. I don't know if I would have taken the outside. That's an interesting choice, but looks like they're going almost side by side through the final next turn. Oh, good job by Dean Solomon. So he ends up taking the inside on the next turn, and he's going to be able to keep that position probably at least for the rest of the lap. As long as he plays his car wide. Clayton Filsinger just getting closer and closer. Like I said, he could pretty much reach out and touch Luke's car here. Clayton continuing to follow him through sector 3 right here. Nate Schreiber getting closer and closer to Dean Solomon. And now we have Justin Turek, who's making his way back up through the field. He's up to P11. I believe he got up to pretty much dead last. Nelson getting on the grass a little bit. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that while it's raining. It's already slippery enough on the track. And it made contact, and I believe it was not anybody's fault. Nelson, unfortunately, again, just got a little bit squirrely. And that allows Justin to get closer, but he did end up making contact because he was directly right behind him. So Justin going to try to get the move done here. As we head down to Cheetah, he does. Very good job from Justin. Plays it brave, but also acknowledges the fact that he was fighting. Great job from Justin. Justin Turek up to P10 here. Jay Diaz getting past Clayton Filsinger. And it looks like Clayton might have had a moment here, so we'll just watch what happened. Clayton was right behind Luke Lozama. And we're filing into the final sector here, so we'll just take a look back at what's happening. Sorry, I did not realize that was not in broadcast. So really sorry about that. All right, so let's do that one more time. It looks like, unfortunately, I just missed it, but it looks like Clayton had a moment, so he ends up behind JDS here. And it looks like some real gaps are starting to form. Top 10, Luke is now 4.6 behind Mastillo. JDS has fallen behind Luke by 1.3. And Clayton Filsinger, you have to cycle it one more time, I think? Oh, okay. All right, good answer. Okay. I think it's up now. There. Okay. Alright. Bill Cryotheos right behind Nate Schreiber. Nate's still trying to get past Dean Solomon here, but Cryo's trying to get past Nate, especially with that time penalty. The track position is going to be pretty much... Wait, it's gone now? You don't see it on? There. Yep. So, Cryo's trying... obviously, track position is very important here. Cryo trying to make sure that he gets as far ahead as possible, because he will end up falling behind, unfortunately, when he ends up taking that penalty. And because of the pressure that Cryo is putting on Nate, Nate has now fallen outside of 1 second of Dean Solomon. And Cryo is going to try to go for the move here in the turn one. And he looks like he got a good run out from the last turn. Nate will obviously try to defend to the best of his abilities. Cryo goes to the inside, the usual overtaking line here. See how aggressively Nate plays it? It's fairly aggressively, and it looks like Nate has a good chance to maybe be able to defend it, but Cryo muscles him out. The pro that Cryo is, the champion that Cryo is, that was a champion's move right there. Phil Cryotheos into P8, and now he can make his way towards just the racing line as a rookie move. What? Oh, I didn't even notice I had the racing line. Sorry. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that. Clayton Filsinger now back up behind J. Diaz. So Clayton had a little bit of a moment before, but he's back up to the J. Diaz. Here, as Luke continues to fall behind David Mastillo. Luke's actually putting up very good laps. They're all well into the 43s now, but Mastillo is just putting up 43.1. So he's just continuing to gap them. So I believe they're now all fighting for pretty much P2 at this point. So next one up, who's the closest? Sven Goose, former race winner. I don't think he was actually champion, but former race winner here. He's trying to get past Al Nelson in the McLaren. Sven Goose is putting up just under into the 44s, 44.8. Al Nelson's best lap is 45 flat. So if he's close to edging by him, but again, to get the move done, you need about a half a second advantage into any turn. I believe that's the conventional wisdom I used to have. Let's see if he gets a good enough run at it. It looks like Al Nelson actually gained about 300ths until the last turn, so looks like Goose won't be able to make that overtake. And looks like Nate Schreiber has just fallen about 3 seconds behind, so looks like he might have had a moment or two, but he continues to be in a very good P8 position. Still P1 in rookies. He's still ahead of all of the AMs. He's 3.4 seconds ahead of the next car, which is Chad McLean, who's the lead AM. I think Chad is a former AM winner as well. Very good race from Nate, and hey, look at the facts. Cryotheos has a 15-second time penalty. So that means that Nate will jump in front of him, so he's pretty much sitting in 7 right now. He just needs to keep it clean, and it looks like... And the pit window is open. So the pit window will be open for 15 minutes. So from now until 15 minutes left in the race. So it looks... we'll keep an eye out on who descends into the pits here. Will be interesting. Certainly the guys with penalties will need to... Oh, and we have somebody in the wall. And that was a Mustang. That unfortunately was Nicholas Woods. And his race might be over. And I don't see him moving. He might be going back to the pits, but it won't be anytime soon. Let's check out some of the other guys. Wow, that is a dark livery. That's interesting, though. It looks like velvet almost. That is Layla Martinez. And she gets an easy overtake because it looks like Abrochada, sorry. Just went off the track, unfortunately. Might have a little bit of damage as well. Nobody's descended into the pit so far. Clayton is right on the back of, and now I can see the names, Juan Diaz. There you go. So Clayton's going to be looking to get back up into a podium position here. And again, haven't seen anybody descend to the pits yet. Nur Halim has, but he's sitting in P23. So he's likely had some other trouble. He's actually out of the pits now, so maybe he can make some gains. We have El Nelson, who's right behind Chad McLean. Phil Cryosios catching up to Dean Solomon. Plain continues to follow behind Juan Diaz. Lennon Bromfield is holding the positions down in P12. He was P11 for a while. And they've both caught up to Luke Lozama, pretty much. Looks like Luke had a couple of bad laps. Well, he just had a couple of slow laps. He's closer to the 44s. Plain is pretty much getting into the mid 43s, so he's catching up a little, and he's pretty much willing Diaz towards Lozama as well. So he's actually able to, and then he's into the pits. I think that was a good choice because I don't think he was getting past Diaz very easily. And the fact of the matter is that Luke was just not as fast as Clayton Filsinger was on the track right now. So he might be able to just make more gains but with an easy and open track. So he's into the pits. Very likely not going to be taking tires. I don't imagine many people are going to be. And along with that, Dean Solomon also into the pits. I agree with that as well. Dean was about to come up on Cryo. Cryo has a time penalty. No point in fighting that. Take the early pit. I think that's a good choice. We will start seeing some other people descend into the pits here. The first few people have done. So because of people jumping into the pits, we're going to get some weird gaps for a while, but we'll give the AutoCam a little bit of a test out here. Was not doing so well before, but Clayton Filsinger coming out from the pits. But since the gaps have opened up because of the pits and because generally we are a little bit farther into the race, we'll give the AutoCam a little bit of a look. Dean Solomon also coming out of the pits. We'll keep a lookout for anybody who does go into the pits right here. All right, Abrochada. That is Rob Abrochada right behind Ryan Bishop. And they are right next to each other. Wow, that is a risky position go for an overtake, but I do like the... Oh, he actually got past him, so it looks like... And now Clayton Filsinger as well, right behind Layla Martinez. Martinez is carrying a 10-second time penalty as well. So Clayton does not want to lose ground up to Luke Lozama. So he needs to make sure Luke is into the pits as well. Luke Lozama from P3 into the pits, along as Derek Anderson also into the pits from P4. JDS for the moment inherits P2 along with Phil Cryophios, but they both have to pit. They both do have to pit. Clayton is number one on the track in terms of people who haven't pitted, but again, David Masil is just so far ahead, it's not even funny at this point. So we'll see where Luke Lozama ends up coming out. This will be interesting. He's heading out of the pits now. Clayton looks like he's coming up soon, but it might not be soon, and it will not be soon enough. In fact, Luke is probably made up just around like a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds on Clayton, because Clayton ended up getting stuck behind Layla Martinez. Layla Martinez is totally allowed to defend her line. That they are on the track. They have not pitted. They have no obligation to get out of the way. So, but Clayton does get past now. Unfortunately, Clayton ended up losing probably a second and some change. But now he does have a clear track to Luke. There's nobody in between them. Looking at some other people right here, we have Sven Goose, who's out of the pits now, and he's looking to get past Sod. Sazat? Joe Sazat? Sorry, Joe. I'm trying. Dean Solomon, right behind Chanley. Chanley has not pitted, so Dean Solomon has pitted, so he's going to be looking not to lose too much ground. He's battling with Derek Anderson, his friend, along with, predictably, will be Phil Crowfield. JD is now into the pits, along with David Mastillo as well. Will be interesting to see where Mastillo comes out and if he comes out into traffic. But inheriting the lead now is Phil Cryotheos. He still has a 15-second time penalty. Unfortunately, it's going to end up being a little bit of a killer. Because he will end up sitting in the pits for a while and predictably losing positions. But as long as he's able to stay out on this track, especially in clear track position, especially as others will fall behind back markers and whatnot, David Mastillo out of the pits. He falls into P5. Drew Jensen right behind him. See if Drew can overtake him. Hey, Drew, go for it, baby. Drew Jensen, Nebraska native here. Haymarket Motorsports. But he does still need to pit, so predictably, David Mastillo should get out in front. We have Christian Julian, our own Christian Julian, broadcaster, esports manager, also iRacing manager as well, along with Magnus McFalds and a few others. He's had a very good race, but he still needs to pit, and he will, if he doesn't pit soon, then David Mastillo will likely come up on him. Great livery again. Love the livery. Jay Martinez is now coming up on Layla Martinez. Again, Martinez carrying a 10-second time penalty. You have to wonder if Jay Diaz is going to get held up at all. Juan Diaz, sorry. I forgot I can actually see their names now. Juan Diaz has to make sure he gets past Lionel Martinez quickly because he is battling Klein and Luke Lozama right in front of him. He's actually right there along with him the whole battle, but if he ends up getting stuck behind Martinez too long, that will not be advantageous. We have El Nelson into the pits. Klein Filsinger is now catching up to Luke Lozama predictably. He was reasonably faster than him, pretty much per lap. So he's going to predictably catch up to Luke Lozama here, and they will be fighting for P2. Juan Diaz going for the move here. Actually just sets him up for actually Lionel Martinez. Never mind. Sorry about that. It was just the angle. It hit Leila's car at the perfect time, so Lionel Martinez will sit behind. So Juan Diaz, no problems now to get up to Klein, unfortunately, for the fact that they have fallen behind by 4 seconds. Luke Lozama now trying to get past Drew Jensen here. Luke is trying not to lose too much. And Drew Jensen, it looks like he either gave way or fell off the track a little bit, unfortunately. But Drew Jensen still has to pit, was holding out. I actually don't think it's a bad strategy at all, especially with the rain and the nature of the track. Cars are end up caught in traffic, so not a bad idea. Stay out as long as you can. Take your track positions. The faster cars will get around you, and you won't end up losing too much time. Okay, wow. So I'm going to take just a 2-minute break here because my throat is all dry, so I'm going to go get water, and I will be right back. So enjoy the auto camel that. Hey everyone, I'm back. Sorry, mouth is getting real dry. It's been a while since I've commentated. So we're gonna get off the auto cam and see. I also thought it was a good idea just to let the pit stops play out a little bit, because instead of just trying to manage all of the track position changes. So let's take a quick rundown here. David Mastillo here, great job. Continues to be out front. He has not increased that gap, but he's kept it steady to Luke Lozama for now. He sits at P1. He's about 5 seconds ahead. Luke Lozama keeps his gap right now to Klein consistent, but Klein is ever so slightly chipping away at it, just by 100. So unfortunately, 100 per lap won't be enough, as there's only about 17 and some change left. But Klein is catching up. Klein Filsinger, P3, his the last podium spot. He's about 2.8 seconds out of J. Diaz. J. Diaz has done a good job of keeping that gap consistent. Or he's actually brought it down for 4 seconds. But he's going to need to gain a little bit more to try to catch up and gain a podium spot. Behind him, big gap here, but still a very good position and a great performance. Derek Anderson, 9.6 seconds behind, but he is 9 seconds ahead of his teammate, close friend, brother, Dean Solomon. They're both racing in the Backroad GT racing team. Behind them, despite the 15-second time penalty, you got to give it out to Phil Cryotheos. Without the 15-second time penalty, he would have been very close to Derek Anderson and ahead of Dean Solomon. Unfortunately, he's carrying the 15-second time penalty, so it is what it is. Nate Schreiber, fantastic race. Just have to give another shout out to Nate. He's doing a great job so far. Justin Turek is trying to unlap himself. So I think Nate will. Nate should give the weight in. If I could give any advice on him, he's not fighting Justin. He has a good lead to Sven Goose in the back. So again, Nate is ahead of all the other rookies. Sven Goose right behind him was also a rookie, but he's P1 rookies and he's ahead of the rest of the yams as well. So he's done a fantastic job so far. So Nate, if he could keep it on the track, this will be a very good result for him. He's carrying P8 right now. And then behind him, we have Sven Goose, who's licking his chops, looking at Justin trying to get past Nate Schreiber right here. And Nate does let him pass. I think that was a good move from Nate. He does end up losing a little bit of time to Sven Goose, but he would have lost a lot more. He ended up going off the track. And Lennon Bromfield, not to be outdone, has had a very good fight back. He did not have a great qualifying. Didn't really have a fantastic first half of the race. He's done a very good job fighting himself back into this race, and now he potentially could be overtaking Sven Goose. And the trouble for Sven Goose here is that anytime that ends up getting lost will end up costing him towards Nate. This is why what Nate did was, a brilliant move by letting Justin go. Is that by the time that he ends up getting overtaken and the time that Bromfield ends up catching up, we're going to be pretty much towards the end of the race at that point. And now we'll look at the rest of the field, and everyone else is sort of spread out, but we will give a few updates for the podium position. Bromfield right there on the back of Sven Goose. So pit window is closed. So I believe everyone has gotten their. Nope, actually, Adam Newer-Halim did go into the pits earlier, but I believe he forgot that he did not satisfy the fact that he didn't actually do a pit inside of the pit window, or maybe he was serving the drive-thru or something of the sorts. But he's fortunately going to end up with a big penalty in terms of seconds. I forgot exactly what the time-second penalty here was. Maybe somebody in the chat can refresh me, but he's going to fall all the way to the back. Everyone else is satisfied their pit, so we should have a good run-off to the end here. Lennon Bromfield, again, the closest car to any other car on the track so far. We will update you on the battle for the podium spots because they're getting very close. It looks like J. Diaz is caught up to a second and a half behind Klein Filsinger. He's putting up the best laps out of the three right now. Klein is, again, just edging ever so closer to Luke Lozama. He's only 2.2 seconds behind. He's getting closer and closer every lap. And Luke Lozama has fallen ever so slightly more behind David Mastillo. Is 6.4 seconds. So David Mastillo, if he keeps it together, makes no mistakes, doesn't lose the focus, should be crossing the line, take a very good win here in Kyalami. But the guys behind him, that's an open book right now. It looks like Lennon Bromfield's done a great job of catching up behind, but unfortunately he hasn't been able to get past Sven Goose, and that has allowed Luke Nelson, sorry, just now I won't forget. It's allowed Luke Nelson to actually catch up to about 2 seconds behind that. Christian Julian also done a very good job. He's P3 for the podium on the rookies. So the podium right now for the rookies looking like Nate Schreiber is P1 right now, sitting P8 overall. P9 right behind him, Sven Goose, who does... Oh no, unfortunately, Sven Goose goes off, and that was a concern for us because Brownfield, yeah, unfortunately, just a little bit of the grass. Just a little bit of the grass, and he has some bad damage right now, but I think he's going to stay out. It's not worth pitting. He's still P2 for rookies. Christian Julian is catching up like gangbusters. And actually, Chad McLean right behind him, so we have a weird situation right now where Christian's catching up to Sven Goose, but Chad is trying to get past Christian Julian, but they're also not in the same class. So if Christian was smart, he'll continue to just do... he'll continue to do his thing, possibly let Chad by, because it looks like Sven is... Yeah, he's into the pits. That might have been more damage than he could have drive with. As unfortunate, Sven Goose was not only catching up to P1 and rookies, Nate Schreiber, but he was doing a real good job. Unfortunately, just grabbing the grass a little bit, and that was the end of that. Chad McLean, so now these two are just legitimately fighting for position. Christian Julian slots into P2 for the rookies. And Chad looks like he's going for it. This is a real good battle here. JD is within 1 second of Clayton Filsinger in P3. We'll get to that battle as soon as we see a conclusion to this battle right here. So this is for P11 overall. Chad is fighting to get towards Luke Nelson for P1 in the AMs. Christian Julian is trying to keep his position because Leila Martinez, despite all the penalties, is actually P3 right now for the rookies. So we're going to actually just switch off to, we'll keep you updated on that battle, but Juan Diaz right here, right behind Clayton Filsinger, and he's going for it. He wants that podium position. Again, Clayton has caught up ever so slightly to Luke, but Luke's done a good job of just keeping him at bay. Unfortunately, that's allowed Juan Diaz to catch up to the back of Clayton Filsinger right here. And it looks like the rain has remained consistent. I don't really see a dry line. Might just be my graphics, maybe. I don't see a dry line here, so it looks like Juan has just really adapted to the conditions. Clayton's not. It's not that Clayton has not. And it looks like Chad actually did get past Christian Julian, and so that's actually not the worst thing for Christian. He remains P2. He's way ahead, 22 seconds ahead of P3 in the rookies, and they could just write off some subset with that. So we're seeing Juan Diaz here as we hit just 10 minutes left in the race. If you guys want to go for a move, now is the time to do it. Actually, I guess we have some marks, but still. This is the time where mistakes end up getting made. This is the time where I've really made most of my mistakes, is when you're getting towards the end, you're pushing it, you're seeing that gap come down, or maybe you're seeing that gap decrease. Flame's getting a little bit loose there, and you just end up making a mistake close to the end. They're both really risking it. They're coming up on a back marker here. Our Bishop gets out of the way. He does for both of them. So he actually didn't interrupt that battle too much, but, and they're both catching up to Luke Lozama as well. Almost exactly 2 seconds behind Luke. Juan Diaz is going to go for the move here. He does take a little bit of a look, but he's not going to go for the move here. Likely just going to wait for the opportune time. So Christian Julian just as an update, also just 1 second outside of Chad. So it looks like Chad is clear of that. Luke Nelson getting within 1 second of Lennon Bromfield here for P9. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But right now, all eyes on this battle for P1. As Juan Diaz and Clayton Filsinger are fighting for the last podium spot. Fantastic job from both of these two. Great job racing so far. Again, the Sector 3 in Kyalami invites a lot of aggressive racing on a normal day. These two are pros right here, obviously. Platinum drivers. Our Billy Clayton is, I actually don't know about one. So these guys are going to fight and push the cars to the limits in any conditions, especially conditions like this. It looks like they're holding steady to Luke, but Wanty is here. Continue to just hound Clayton Filsinger. All to play. It is all to play here. We have just a handful of laps left. Oh, Clayton off the track a little bit, so that's going to lose him some ground here. Oh no, and Juan Diaz gets a little bit squirrely. The same exact bump that Justin Turk was struggling with. Does keep the car together, so not all is lost, but he has lost a little bit of ground. He's lost about 4/10 to Clayton Filsinger. And that could make a big difference at the end, because it will take him a lap to catch back up to the bumper. Not too long, but that's another lap gone where he could have made that move. That was a significant moment here, but still, my statement does still apply. All to win and all to lose. Still on the line for those podium spots. P2, P3, P4, all to play. We are coming up on 7 minutes left. We'll give a little bit of love to our leader here, David Mastillo. David, I'm sorry if you haven't got a little bit of screen time. You've just been super far ahead the whole race. You do deserve some screen time. The guys behind you are fighting for those spots that you deem too good for yourself. Dusting everybody in qualifying and doing a great job of holding down the fort. Luke's actually done a very good job of just keeping distance to David Mastillo as well. Wonder if Luke had gotten maybe a little bit of a better start at the beginning. Maybe he could have challenged towards the end, but here or there, doesn't matter. David Mastillo has done a great job. Even if he has a bunch of bad laps, he will be trying to. And we are seeing some back marks here. Clayton Filsinger gets ahead of Gomez. Gomez going to give a little bit of trouble? No, not really. He does a great job of letting Juan Diaz. I keep trying to say Joey Diaz, but Joe Rogan guy, but it's not him. Juan Diaz again. He's got to be careful with that grass. That grass is a little bit of a killer. It cost him some time on the last lap. It didn't cost him any on this time, but and he's closer than ever before. So he goes from almost losing the car to being closer than ever before. Is he going to go for the move? He's going to go from the outside. I believe that's a conservative attempt at an overtake. And now he's going to go to the inside. Clayton does a great job of covering it off. But he does get the inside. He doesn't. Oh, Clayton does it. Oh, he does end up getting the inside line. But I believe Clayton's going to get the run out. The ideal line out there when you spill out onto the straight is the outside. So Clayton, right at the last second, got out. Less than 100's behind him. These two are pushing for it. For P3. And because of the fact that Clayton's having to fight so hard and obviously work through the back markers as well, Luke's actually gained a little bit of a gap. Just a little bit more than he had before. Adam Noor Halim, who still has not pitted, is the next back marker up for these guys. I do want to give a little bit of love. Lennon Bromfield is doing a great battle with Luke Nelson right now, but we just have to keep our eyes on for the last podium spot here. These two, as we take a heli cam look at this, these two are just so incredibly close to each other as they go through the final bends here. Clayton continuing to stay ahead, but these two are battling not only themselves, but they're battling the conditions at the same time. This is an ever interesting battle right here. Take a little bit of a heli cam look. It looks like one always ends up getting a little bit of a run out through the last turn, but he did get a little bit squirrely 2 turns before, so that did cost him half a second. So he's gaining and he's gaining to Clayton, but he's not enough. These drivers at the top have such fine margins for each other that they almost need to nail it perfectly to be able to get that overtake done. Will they be able to get it done perfectly? Who knows? He has 4 minutes left. And he goes for it. He's going for it. Ew. So you just don't want to grab that curb too much. I understand what he was doing. And I don't blame him for it. And he didn't end up losing a lot, but he could have lost a lot. That was a risky move to take. But Clayton's done a great job of defending so far, and not only that, he's still not super far away from Luke in case Luke makes a mistake, runs it to a back marker, or anything of the sorts. And we're continuing to watch that battle. Looks like Glenn Brownfield has now fallen behind Luke Nelson. So Luke has gained a 2-second lead on them. So great job from Luke. He's going to end up being the #1 AM. He's pretty well far ahead of Chad McClain. Nate Schreiber continues to be ahead of all the AMs and the rookies. Still in P8, and he's 6 seconds ahead of Luke Nelson. So Nate Schreiber, my driver of the day right there. Everybody at the top obviously already good. Nate's been very good, but he is lacked the consistency and sometimes the discipline. Oh no! And there goes Clean. Phil Singer. Clean just had a moment. That is unfortunate. Just unfortunate from Clean Phil Singer. Yeah, just he didn't end up losing the car, and that could have ended up really badly, but unfortunately lost enough to where he lost the last podium spot, and doesn't have much time left to regain it. He only has just about 2 minutes left. And to be honest, Juan Diaz, even before that, was gaining on Klein every lap. So Klein does have a little bit of time, but he needs to pull out some magical laps here to be able to gain up, and we don't really have anybody within the second of each other. So we will keep an eye on that battle, or we'll go back to the auto cam to see if it picks up anything. And nope. Okay, the auto cam is obviously just not giving us anything of interesting. So Phil Cryotheos. Oh, there's a big bunch up here. Well, we could watch this. A bunch of cars here. And Phil Cryotheos 1.4 seconds behind Dean Solomon. Dean Solomon is caught up to the back of Derek Anderson, so it looks like Derek might have had a moment. So Dean Solomon's within 3 seconds of Derek. Phil Cryotheos within 1.8 seconds. They're all overtaking back markers, and it's a humble jumble mess here towards the end. So we'll keep an eye on that. He's back on the back of Sven Goose. Unfortunately, Sven Goose, who was doing a great job, he was second for the AMs. He does give way to the other cars. Very good job from Sven Goose. Fortunately, just had that one moment. Leader is on the final lap, so David Mastillo continues to be. Christian Julian looks like he had a moment, so he gets. Actually, no. Christian didn't have a moment. What happened? Where's Chad? Chad McClain has dropped off the rankings? Did he lost internet or crashed? That's it for him. Christian Julian inherits a spot. P2 is still in the rookies. Now overall P11. So unfortunately do not know what happened to that. Jay Diaz now, oh my god. Juan Diaz has caught up right to the back of Luke Lizama here. So Luke might have had a moment, don't really know exactly what happened. But he's less than 1 second behind Luke Lizama. So forget Clayton Filsinger, he's going for P2. There's Nicholas Woods off the track over there in the background. Has he just run out of time, unfortunately, at the wrong time? Could he just needed one more lap? We don't really know, but he has just one sector left to try to make up the difference here. He's getting closer and closer. He's 0.6 behind. He could taste the back of his wing. And it might be a little bittersweet because unfortunately he's running out of time here. And but before that, obligatory, oh, it's getting so close. So David Mastillo ends up winning round 3 of season 15, Kyalami and the GT America. So great job from David Mastillo. And these two are just fighting towards the line for P2. So close. They're going to end up being off hundredths of apart. Oh, so close. Oh my god, that was unbelievable. What an effort from Juan Diaz to try to capture P2. But Luke Lizama does hold on. So Luke Lizama P2. Clayton Filsinger P3. We have Derek Anderson. We have a good battle behind as well. And not forget this. Phil Cryo right behind Derek Dean Sloman. Cryo going for it. Oh, that's a little bit of a bump. Oh, and Dean Solomon off the track. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, but we'll see what ends up happening. So Derek Anderson, very good P5. Phil Cryotheos P6. Dean Solomon, zero point 0.1 seconds behind. P7. Nate Schreiber, give it up for Nate here. What a great race. What a fantastic race. That's P1 for rookies. That's a rookie win ahead of all the AMs, and he does 8th overall. Great job from him. Christian Julian crosses the line. He's going to be P2. Sorry, Luke Nelson, P1 for AMs as well. Great job for him. Christian Julian's crossing the line here shortly. Slurm Racing. I don't know what that Slurm is, but I guess that has to do with his livery. He is P2 for rookie, so great job by Christian Julian there. And they were Layla Martinez, despite the fact that she was dealing with a 10-second time penalty. She comes in for P3 for the rookies. You see your Loyal across the finish line relatively soon. P12. And then the last one, Rob Abrochata. He's P4 for the rookies. He does a great job as well, finishing P13 overall. And everybody else was lapped. And some unfortunate ones right there. Sven Goose and Justin Turek. A few of them who were in great position beforehand, but unfortunately ended up with some last place finishes. All right, everybody. So going to go to the intermission screen, and we'll come back and do some interviews here. Back quicker than you thought. You weren't expecting that. That's right. That's right. We're going to pull in some people here who are in VCs. We'll grab Nate here. Nate,
Yo,
this is the Twilight Zone. I'm interviewing you on the podcast.
right? I know. Here we are.
Yeah.
How we
Great
doing?
job. Great job. You kept it together that whole race. It was raining. It was a lot of traffic. Finished P1 for the rookies. How are you feeling?
You know, phenomenal. This one was, I mean, I was worried obviously with the greasy track. I didn't want to, have an accident and, ruin my chances of the championship. So,
Yep.
just wanted to focus on being consistent. I set my like first 44s during the race too. I almost got to 43s.
Nice.
So,
There was a moment in the middle where I had mentioned that I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Cryer or somebody else. I was like, Nate should let this person go because Nate could. You had a good sized gap to the person behind yourself. You exercised good restraint on that, so I was proud of you. It was a long way from season 11 where we raced together in rookies. Great discipline from you. You ended up actually beating out all the AMs as well. So, what was your strategy going into the race? How did you keep it together? It was a little bit chaotic on the track for everyone else, but you kept your cool and didn't get in any incidents.
yeah, I mean, well, lap one, extra cautious. Everybody tries to make
Yep.
moves on lap one. I just try to, especially turn one, find the line that's going to leave me with runoff space. And this time, it actually ended up gaining me a ton of positions. And,
Yep.
from there, it's just, keep your head down, keep an eye on lap times, and, stay consistent.
Was there any thought to changing tires, or was that never a thought really during this race?
I mean, not really, because I mean, changing to what I thought about it because I was like, I kind of wanted to try and beat Cryo, but he's
Yep.
too fast for me. So I went, I took the tires, and my real goal was just to beat all the AMs.
Yeah.
Done that 2 weeks in a row now. So
Fantastic. My friend, once again, congratulations on the rookie win and an overall fantastic finish, and great job keeping it together.
thank you much, man. Thank you
No,
for commentating. You guys
yeah,
have a great one.
no problem. I'll see Nate later. We will pull in Christian Julian here. Is the only other person I could see on the track. Actually, we could try to pull in Luke Lozano.
Green line. Give it all you got.
Yeah, let's pull in. And maybe we could just pull ourselves. Yeah, there we go. Luke Lazama,
Yes.
you're in the commentators booth.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Luke,
This is where we
fantastic
shake
race.
hands.
Yes, exactly. Virtual handshake right here. Seriously though, you had a great race. That was very good. I thought you were making some headway towards David Masil at the end, and then you obviously were fighting with Juan Diaz and Clayton Filsinger, and that was a crazy battle for P2 and then P3 towards the end. How was your race overall, expectations wise?
I was not expecting the whole P2, to be honest. I came into the race with literally just had to hop on. I've had such a busy week. I don't know if I told you, but I'm pretty sure I told everybody else. I'm selling my computer like tomorrow. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so a lot is going on in my life,
Yeah.
and I didn't have time. So like I came here, I saw Mr. Little be like 6 tenths faster than everybody in practice. I was like,
Yeah.
this is interesting. Is this how other people feel last season?
Yeah. Was it so? I was actually talking about there during qualifying. It was so weird because Masil is obviously talented. The NSX could be a good car in the right hands, but it was a little bit of a sticker shock to just see him so far ahead. You were able to keep that gap steady towards the end of the race, but towards the beginning of that race, he pretty much created the gap that he ended up with in the first like 15 or 20 minutes. Did you have any strategies to be able to catch up, or why do you think he was so far ahead at the beginning?
It's the NSX. It's wet conditions. BOP favors him. I'd say I didn't have the car today. I mean, also I wasn't also at my best, but at the same time, I still tried my best at the end. His tires probably ate up itself. No one took tires in the
Yeah.
top 3 or 4, so yeah, his
Did
tires
you
probably ate up because of the NSX.
So you saw Juan and Clayton. Obviously, they're fighting with each other the whole time. You were able to keep
Mhm.
that gap to them by 2 seconds. Did you have any concerns outside of that? Did you have concerns that they would catch up towards the end, or were you able to just stay confident that you were keeping the gap to them?
I was able to stay confident. Clayton was being his laps were inconsistent. I saw him do
Yep.
like a low 44, and I was like, dude, if I keep doing this, he's gonna catch me in like 3 laps.
Yep.
But then times kept shifting, so I'm guessing he kind of got maybe a little bit desperate to try and
Yep.
catch up to me quicker. But I just kept my cool. I just was like, I just need to put in consistent laps, and that's what I did for my second stint. I just tried to be consistent as much as I can.
Well, fantastic. Well, you had a great race. P2 overall
Hmm.
of everybody. So that's a fantastic podium. So a great job on the race, and hopefully continue to have similar. Well, I guess you're selling a PC tomorrow, but
I'll be racing on a laptop. I'll be
yeah,
racing on a laptop.
exactly. We'll see you back. All right. Thank you, Luke.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye. All right, everybody. So we are gonna sign off now. It was a pleasure to be able to come back and commentate. I think it's the first time I've commentated in legitimately many seasons. Many seasons. I used to commentate back in the F1 days. Tyler, when he was still around, so some of the OGs know me, but I've not commentated, at least for ACC, in a very long time. We did do the Nürburgring 24 hours, but it was a little bit of a one-off, but it was a pleasure to come back and be able to talk to you. A fantastic race. Love Kyalami, love wet races, a lot of great moments. Was be able to nice to be able to talk to you guys. So signing off here. So this is season 15, round 3, Kyalami of the Odyssey Racing League GT Americas. Be sure to subscribe to our Patreon to be able to gain exclusive access and features to the league, and to also be able to get first dibs at track selection and pulls and whatnot. A lot of benefits, and it doesn't cost much. But also, the best thing you do apart from that is be in the Discord. So in the description, you'll find the Patreon link and the Discord link. So click on either of those and join up if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time.